If you're looking to stay in Thailand without the stress of visa runs, the Destination Thailand Visa or DTV might be perfect for you. I was doing visa runs every few months and it just got very stressful. Now I finally have the DTV Visa, and in this video I'll walk you through how I got it. So in this video I'll tell you about the requirements, the process, and my own personal experience in getting the visa. So let's get into the video. So when I first got to Thailand, I got the tourist visa on arrival, which when I came was 30 days, but now you get 60 days on arrival. And this was fine because I just wanted to see if I actually liked the country and if it's somewhere I could stay long term. You can extend this for another 30 days at any immigration office as well. And I think it's about 1,500 baht. So you just go in, bring your passport and just extend it for another 30 days. So you can get 90 days on the tourist visa. I really enjoyed the visa runs because I got to go see new countries, but they started to get stressful because when you're coming in and out and you're staying for longer periods of times, they ask a lot more questions. And then I just kind of decided that I want to stay long term, so I started looking into the DTV visa. There wasn't that much online about it, so I'm just making this video just to explain my experience with the process and how I got it. So to get the DTV visa, you actually cannot be in Thailand when you apply for it. So I had to leave and go to another country and apply online through the Thai embassy in that country. I chose to apply in Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam. I chose Vietnam because I hadn't been there before. It's close. The visa was quite easy to get into the country, and I planned a few business meetings while I was over there, so I kind of made it a productive trip, and I just wanted to go see what Vietnam was like, really. So I flew to Ho Chi Minh, gathered all my documents, and then I applied. Who can apply for this visa? So there's 3 categories who can apply. So the first is workcation, and that's the one I personally did. So this is freelancers, remote workers, digital nomads, just anything under that bracket. If you're making money outside of Thailand and you want to live here, you can apply through that. The next is the Thai soft power activities. So this can be like Muay Thai training, cooking, and a few other things. I didn't really look so much into this visa, but you don't have to be working to get it. You can do and learn about something to do with the Thai culture also. And the third then is if you are a spouse or you are a child of under the age of 20 connected to someone who has the DTV visa. So there are the 3 types of people who can apply to get the DTV. So the documents I needed were first the biodata page of my passport, so all the kind of ins and outs on my stamped on my passport. This just proves that you're in another country. So I had my Vietnam stamp on mine, so it showed that I wasn't in Thailand. So that kind of, if you're in Thailand, you try apply or you try lie, it's not going to work because you need to be outside the country and you have to prove this. The second thing was a photograph taken in the last 6 months. So I just got on a white wall here and took a photo of myself with my camera with the flash on, and I edited it in on Canva just to the file size that they needed, and I uploaded that and it worked perfectly. So the third is the document indicating your current location. So for this, I used actually the biodata page on my passport with the stamp, showing that I was in Vietnam and not in Thailand. And I also just sent the booking confirmation from my hotel where I would be staying in Vietnam. I read online as well that you had to be in your home country to apply, so I was kind of nervous doing it because I wasn't sure if they were going to accept it with me being in Vietnam, but there was no issues. And that's just one thing I want to mention in this video. You don't have to be in your home country, and don't lie pretending you're in your home country if you go to another. Just do it honestly, do it through the embassy there, and it works perfectly. Well, it did for me anyway. So the fourth thing is financial evidence that you can support yourself while living in Thailand. So you have to have at least 500,000 baht in your bank account. And this has to be a statement. It can't just be a screenshot of the balance in your bank account. It has to be a statement from the bank and the last 6 months. Because I made a mistake when applying, and I'll tell you in a minute how I made a mistake, but it has to be the last 6 months. And then finally, you need an employment contract or a certification. So if you have a contract from an employer or if you're remote work. What I actually put through was my business portfolio of my own business and everything that I was doing. And I'll explain that in the next step of how I actually broke down everything and gave all the details. Because I made a mistake there too, and I'll explain in a second. So the details about the visa are it's multiple entry and it's a 5-year visa. So you get 6 months each stay. So you can come in and out as many times as you like, and each time you come in and out, you get another 6 months added to your visa. Or else, I think within the 5 years, you can apply for an extension once or twice, I'm not too sure, but you can go and get another 6 months. So for the maximum stay you can stay is 360 days, which is nearly a year in Thailand. And the cost of this visa was 10,000 baht. So I'll pop up the conversion of what that is. So it's around 280 euro, I think, $300, which is very good value in comparison to all other visas, because some of them are extremely expensive if you want to try stay in Thailand. So the first step is what I'd recommend to do is prepare all your documents before you get to a new country. I didn't do this. I got to the country, so I got to Ho Chi Minh in Vietnam, and I prepared all the documents there, and it was a lot more stressful doing it there because you're outside of the country, you're not sure if you're going to get back in, and if you don't have access to all your stuff, it can get quite stressful. So I would definitely recommend prepare all your documents. If you're in Thailand, you have to leave, or else if you're in your home country and you're applying, just get everything organized. That's the first step. So step 2 was apply when I got to Ho Chi Minh. And it's all online, you don't have to go to any embassy. I think they changed that. You used to have to go into the embassy, but now it's all online. Apply when you're in a different country, not Thailand. So I'll go through now everything that I submitted the first time around, what I did wrong and what you should do to speed up the process to get this visa as quick as you can. The easy parts are giving your passport, giving your biodata page, giving your passport picture. And then it's fairly self-explanatory, the whole process. So the next thing I uploaded was my personal information. On the first page, I kind of wrote almost a letter just explaining what was in this document and why I want the visa and why I want to stay in Thailand, and just explained a bit about myself and explain what was in this kind of PDF file. So I put in my company's incorporation documents, just showing that I have a company back home in Ireland, and just all the documents I needed just to prove that I actually have a business. Then below this, I added in my business portfolio, but I did this very badly. I only put in the link to my website and a few kind of reviews from my services, and that was it really. And I'll explain why you need to put more in, because they requested more documents from me, but I'll explain that in a second. So you have to put in your business portfolio, so I put in a few links. And then I put in some pay slips showing that I'm paying myself for my own business. So if you're working for somewhere else, you can just show your pay slips that you get off someone. But I have my own business set up, so I'm paying myself from that business. So I just added these in below. The other document I had to put through was the financial evidence document. And I did this wrong in this section. I did the explanation on the first page of showing how much is in my account and everything, kind of just explaining as much as you can. But I didn't do the last 6 months. I used a statement from the past, which you cannot do. And I later had to supply more documents, but I'll explain that in a second. So I just sent in bank statements with a brief explanation on the front page, just explaining everything that's in it. So the more you give, the better, of course. So I submitted these on January 20th, 2025. And 2 days later, on the 22nd of January, I was requested for more documents. So they asked for an updated version of my financial evidence because I didn't send the last 6 months. I had ordered a new bank statement with the last 6 months of transactions on it and with the sufficient funds in my bank account, which is 500,000 baht. And they don't accept like crypto, they don't accept like anything. It just has to be in a checkings or savings account. Then the other requested documents that they asked for was more information about my business. So kind of like almost like a business plan really, about the history, what I plan to do, just achievements, like results. On this document then I put absolutely everything I could. Like I've had business plans made in the past, so I got all the information from this. Then I started adding in kind of anything at home that I did with my business, if I was in articles, if I was doing other stuff, if I was just everything, literally explaining it. Then I showed results, I showed reviews, all on this one PDF. So I kind of realized the more information you give, the better. So if you think, oh, this is way too much, it's not. Just give as much as you can. Then I also linked to my website, kind of explained my website, and I linked to my social media pages that I have for my business. So yeah, the more the merrier in this sense, and this was the 22nd, so this was 2 days after I initially applied. So then step 3 is just waiting on the approval. I did this very badly because I went to Vietnam during Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year, and everything closed, and so did the embassy. And luckily somehow through all this, I had a bit of delay, but on the 27th of January, I got accepted in the middle of the new year, which I was shocked about. I thought I was going to be in Vietnam for another 2 or 3 weeks, just waiting on it. But they actually accepted it. So just make sure when you're going to a country, there's no public holidays on at the time you go. Then once it was approved, I showed my e-visa at immigration. They stamped the visa with the e-visa DTV and how long I could stay for. And I got waved straight through. There was no issues, no questions, and it was pretty seamless, really. But there are a number of pros and a few cons as well to the DTV visa. Obviously, one big plus is you don't have to do visa runs every 60 to 90 days. And it's multiple entry, so you can come in and out whenever you want and just get longer stay. Yeah, as it's easier to stay long term without any stress of wondering will you get back in or will you not. It allows huge flexibility for remote workers or digital nomads because you can actually live in the country and just enjoy yourself. And obviously it's valid for 5 years and multiple entries are allowed, which is just beautiful. So I might do a bit of travel there now in a month or so, and we'll see how easy it is to come back in and out and all that process. So the cons are that you have to leave Thailand to apply, which isn't that big of a deal, but that's one con. Another is proving that you have that much money in your bank account. Well, I know it's going to be a challenge for some people, but if you can get the money together somehow and just prove that you have it, it's 100% worth it in the end. Another con is it's still a new visa and a lot of places aren't familiar with it. So it's very new, and I found it difficult to find information on it. There was actually a Facebook group that I used, and I'll put a link in the description below, of all the information I needed, because I was going to go to some kind of visa expert, but then they were charging ridiculous money for it. So when I got into this group, it was really helpful, and of course you can ask me any questions in the comments below. So another 2 cons are you can't work here in Thailand on this visa, but that's kind of expected. It's not for people who can work here, but since you can't work here, it means you can't open a bank account on this visa. So I went to a bank and I was like, I just want it so I can scan for payments so I don't have to keep taking out cash, but I can't open one up. So I might try a few more banks because I only went to one, so we'll see how that goes, but I can't open a bank account for now. So was it worth it? Absolutely, in my opinion. It's quite an easy process to do, and if you tick all the requirements, it should be so easy for you also. It's $300 or whatever it is, but it's so worth it. That's a long time to stay in Thailand, and other visas, as I said, are so expensive. So getting this visa really, really is worth it. So my final tips for a smooth application are just get all your documentation ready before you leave the country. Choose a country that has a good Thai embassy with a good reputation. So in that Facebook group, have a look through all the people who've applied, and because some places are better than others, the waiting time might be long, some might be short, and yeah, just make sure that it's a good embassy. I presume a lot of them are good, but some are quicker than the others is what I mean. And expect some waiting time and follow-ups, because you're probably going to get requested documents. But on the first thing that you submit, just have literally more than enough information so that they don't request more documents and you might get accepted. I think usually it takes 5 business days, but you might get accepted quicker if they don't need to request any more documents. So if you're thinking about getting this visa and moving to Thailand, if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop a comment below or message me on Instagram. And again, I'd like to thank everyone who's subscribed and who's been subscribed for a long while, because it really, really does mean a lot to me, and the comments and everything. So yeah, it's just very motivating for me to keep making videos, and I just love doing it. So if you like this one and have any suggestions of what you want to see next, leave it in the comments below also. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.